Hey everyone, this is Mel with Tested, and I'm here to showcase to you my favorite things of 2022. And the first thing I want to show is this really awesome Cellular Automata vest that I made with one of my best friends. I've known this person since high school. I've always wanted to work and make something with her since high school, and it finally happened. And I feel like the results of it kind of speak for themselves. I freaking love how it came out. She's very much I don't know, she's multi-talented, but she is really, really good at tailoring and seamstress work. And I like coding things, and we decided, hey, why not combine forces and see what happens. And so the pattern was something that was generated from code that I had written using rules based on cellular automata. This one is a different type called cyclical cellular automata. And we basically went through multiple iterations. It's to then have multiple patterns be printed out. And so these are the two that we decided to go with. There were like maybe 10 or 12 more. The beauty of having generative art produce the pattern is that there's sort of a randomness that happens. And so it's kind of like you're collaborating with the computer. So basically, I wrote the code, press play, watched it form into a pattern. Then I was like, okay, save that image, do it again and again and again and again. And yeah, based off of the two that we liked, we then used a service called Spoonflower and had it custom printed onto denim, because we were like, I want a denim vest, and she wanted pants. And then we spent about like, I don't know, like a week, like a month or so working together on our projects. And yeah, it's kind of become like the ultimate friendship vest now. I've gotten a lot of friends to sign the vest. I like to wear it inside out sometimes when I want to feel fuzzy. I don't know. It's great. I should eventually watch it. It's gone through the desert now. But yeah, it's a great vest. I like it. It's one of my favorite things. The second thing I want to showcase to you guys is kind of honestly done entirely out of spectacle. And let's see if I can just do this in the first go. Boom. So this here is the G10 Espada XL. It is a pretty old blade that I've had for quite some time. It was gifted to me by a maker at a makerspace I used to work at, partly because part of the culture was just geeking out about like machining tools and also knives. And the company Cold Steel is kind of a fan favorite of that makerspace, partly because they make really sharp blades, I suppose, but also because they're just ridiculous. Like, they are such a ridiculous company. They're one of the few companies where you will look at their selection and be like, wow, I've never heard of this weapon outside of a D&D campaign. They very much love the ridiculousness, I suppose. I wouldn't call them, they have utility knives. They have definitely knives that are very much used for actual camping and whatever you need to use a knife for, I suppose. But they also just have self-defense weapons that I think transcend what is actually practical. I would argue, I've owned this knife for at least about 10 years or so. I've used it to maybe trim some bushes and trees for fun. I've cut bread with this. I don't really have much of a justification for owning this beyond it's a folding machete type, you know, and I think there's something kind of magical about that. The next thing I guess I want to showcase is something that I actually ended up using pretty frequently the past month or so, which is this Futaba RC Controller. It's the T12K. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I ended up having to use it for an animatronic job where I designed like a robot that needed to basically be puppeted on set in like the desert with one of my best friends, Kate Savicker, and it was very useful for its purpose. I was kind of taken aback at how versatile RC controllers are. Like, I'm so used to just coding things and just like pressing play and running a program, right? For anything that's like sort of semi-automated. What I liked about this was just like, it was kind of a whole nother level of like articulation. Like, you can basically, with a receiver, you can map servos into multiple channels. You can program like the different knobs to do certain things. And outside of just flying planes or helicopters or RC, it's very useful for, like, again, animatronics and puppeting. And yeah, it's quite lovely. This one I think has up to 12 channels, which is really cool. Like it's kind of a little snazzier than like the other ones. You have all these, I don't know, I love things that you can just program that have like knobs and switches, and like, it's quite lovely for that. Another thing that's really nice is it's entirely wireless, and because it's an RC system and it's sort of like a well and tried and true industry, this thing was very useful in say something like the outdoors, the desert, any sort of like rough terrain. Like it's not, you know, you're not worried about, say, like a circuit board that you've somehow like wired together with a LiPo battery. Like a lot of the stuff, it can be very off the shelf. And so then the beauty of that is you can then focus more on, like, say, the mechanical design. You can focus more on sort of the problems of that. And then this kind of takes care of the controls. Because it is like, at the end of the day, especially for a lot of projects, it's not necessarily what you know is the best solution, but more of just like what is right for the job and what is right for the context, right? And I've learned a lot from making an animatronic puppet that sometimes like the code could be useful, and sometimes something more pre-made and simplified also can as well. And so this has been really fun to play with, and it's kind of become one of my favorite things just because I've used it and been like, wow, this is really useful. I really like that I can do slightly, you know, I can program a servo to go in and out using this switch, or I can have it like basically have a little bit of maybe some jitter. I can naturally add this without having to try to do that in code, which is a bit more complicated. All right, next thing is this General Electric cassette recorder. I bought this a while ago because I don't know about you, but sometimes like I like talking to myself and taking notes that way. And it is quite fun to do it in an analog object. I know that you could use your phone and you can press record and stuff, but then you don't have like these clicky things. Like you don't have like that satisfaction of the chonk noises from pressing play and stop. This has the ability to record, it's great. You have basically a mic, and also you can listen in, you can power this directly. When I first got it, I honestly thought it was also beautiful. Like it was a very well-designed product. When I first got it, I think the rubber in the motor was the rubber band in the motor was worn down, and so I ended up having to replace that. But outside of that, it's like, I mean, I could drop this thing probably from like a second story and it'll be fine. Like it's pretty honking, like it's pretty honking strong, you know? Yeah, I like it to do for dictation. I also like using it to play and listen to cassettes. It's nice. Cassettes are great, guys. I mean, it's an old tech, but you know, give it a shot. You know, give it a chance. It's like, you know, it's not like mini disc or anything. The mini disc is really cool, but I like it. I think it's having a comeback. It's not the best medium, but it is a fun medium to play with. And then the next thing I would like to showcase is for everyone out there that's like sensory sensitive. Like, do loud noises freak you out? Do you have moments where there is just like too much going on in like the noise that is our society? Or yeah, that's pretty much it. The noise in our society, right? You may actually like noise canceling headphones. I found a pair that I really like called the Sony 1000 XM4. Yes. And they're quite lovely. I actually ended up discovering the utility of noise canceling headphones for like at least my sensory sensitivity when like, I don't even know, a sports ball team won a game in my neighborhood. And it was just like incessant honking and screaming and shouting. And it's like, I wanted to be happy for them, but I was also just like so overwhelmed. And I was like, I'm in my home trying to figure out like what to do. And then I just put these guys on and I just turned this on and I just like listened to music, and like all the noises in my head just kind of like die down. And it was just like probably one of the most calming experiences that I've ever had in my existence. And so now I'm like a big proponent of it because it's just nice. It's kind of like a little mini temple if that's your jam. If it's like you just need a moment to have like some like silence or some form of calm. Like I found that
the active noise canceling really helped. And then like your favorite jam or your favorite tune kind of like sort of, it's like, mwah, it's a perfect combo for me at least. So yeah, these have become one of my favorite things because I often use it a lot throughout my day. It's quite enjoyable. All right, so the last thing that I want to showcase is something I'm wearing currently. These are pants that have been made based on my body scan of my body. These are called Unspun. These are made by Unspun.io. They're a really cool company based in SF that essentially their whole spiel is bespoke pants that are custom fit exactly to your body type. Super cool. I met them through my friend Becky Stern. I was visiting her for a while, and basically we ended up just crashing one of their like little like get-togethers, and then I found out that they were local, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. You guys are really awesome. And they were like, come over, take a tour of our shop in our place, our office. And I did, and it was like, yeah, they're doing some really amazing stuff. I highly recommend you check out Becky Stern's like breakdown video where she actually interviews one of the founders, because it like just their whole mission statement, like the idea of like sustainability, as well as just like, why is it that we have like clothing that is very tailored to a specific body type when honestly we all are very, very different, very, very different. And so, yeah, I'm very honestly happy with these pants. They fit really well. They feel very comfy. I have thermals underneath and they're fine. And yeah, I guess like I'll do the spin around. I don't normally wear a lot of, I wear black, but I don't really like to wear black by itself. So I ended up just painting a little bit of it there in the pocket punches with the eyes and stuff. But they're a super cool company. You should check them out, especially if like you've had problems like just, I don't know, getting pants that fit that weren't either too tight or too baggy, or they were just like awkward in certain areas. It's like you have body scans. How could you go wrong with that? And yeah, I think in terms of like the future technology that they're trying to do, it's exciting stuff. It is very much like what I think the future of fashion could be. So give them a check out. Yes. Thank you so much for humoring me on this journey. And that was all my favorite things of 2022. I hope you have a great set of holidays, and I hope to see you another time.